Along US 50 is the Indian Mound Cemetery in Romney, West Virginia. It sits upon the former crossroads of two native paths in the area, leading to the creation of the burial mound that's believed to be of the Hopewell culture. Although it has never been disturbed, experts believe that artifacts from 500 to 1000 CE lie within the pine-covered mound. The cemetery itself began operation in 1860, and several older remains dating back to the 18th century have since been reinterred here from other cemeteries in the region. Today, the Indian Mound Cemetery is home to over 1,000 graves, including several key figures of West Virginia history. Two governors, a U.S. Secretary of the Army, and the founder of the Washington Redskins, and scores of soldiers dating back to the French and Indian War are located here.
Here's a section of the cemetery here dedicated to the kids of the Kendall family, and you can see the smaller markers designate them. All died, what it seems, between around 1857, 1858. Hey, we like French and Indian War stuff on our site, don't we, at Redoubt Productions? Well, apparently here on the cemetery was the site of Fort Purcell. 1754 was on the site or near it. John Purcell built the fort to protect against Indians in 1754 on Lot 16, granted by Fairfax in 1749, containing 323 acres, including part of the Indian Mound Cemetery. And on May 14th of 1756, General Washington assigned 45 men and 5 officers and later 94 soldiers to defend Purcell's fort during the French and Indian War. And I must say, you would have a dominating look over the valley over here.
The cemetery is also tied into the American Civil War. In October of 1861, the cemetery was used as a Confederate artillery position during a small skirmish over a covered bridge west of town. But perhaps most famous is not the skirmish that occurred here, but rather a monument erected just after the war's conclusion.
Now, Romney, West Virginia sits in Hampshire County and was a critical juncture for both the Union and Confederates.
You had the Mechanicsburg Gap, which you could just see just over there, and the trees back there,
which was one of the main access points for the Confederates to move into Confederate-held territory, and vice versa.
Also, the South Branch of the Potomac River,
and it ran up eventually to Cumberland, Maryland. As such, armies on both sides moved through Romney multiple times throughout the war, going way back to when the war first started. Now, although Hampshire County was strongly in support of the Confederacy, this section of Western Virginia eventually seceded from the Confederacy to form the state of West Virginia in 1863. When the war ended, the first Constitution for West Virginia forbade any Confederate veterans or sympathizers from holding office. It also disenfranchised them, meaning they would not get any pensions. As such, many people in Romney and the Hampshire County area were pretty upset due to the fact that this town was pretty devastated. Again, no major battles occurred here, but at least 10 times during the war it had changed hands, and that's officially. Local legend says it was more, up to 60 times it changed hands. And by the end of the war, one Union soldier reported there wasn't a single business open in town except for the cabinet shop, and one could hear the cabinet maker pounding on the cabinets, echoing for the whole town, which was dead. Out of Hampshire County, soldiers that enlisted, many joined the Confederacy, including Company A of the 33rd Virginia, which were commanded by
Captain William H. Powell.
They were very famed for being part of the famous Stonewall Brigade and took part in the Battle of Bull Run and basically every other major action afterwards. You also would have the 13th Virginia, as well as various cavalry units were enlisted out of Hampshire County. So in 1866, an effort was made to begin to bring unknown soldiers and other dead of the Confederates from Hampshire County here to the Indian Mound Cemetery. And over there you can actually see the unknown lot for Confederate dead. That led to the creation of a memorial society who wanted to erect a memorial to the Confederate soldiers of Hampshire and Mineral counties. Now, problem, get back to, as we mentioned, West Virginia as our government was very much against the Confederate sympathies, and I can understand. We just went for a horrible rebellion, and we don't want anybody to make any good deals about it. But many people felt that a monument was needed as some type of closure for the losses in Hampshire County. And eventually in 1867, a company out of Baltimore, Maryland, would create this marker. It actually cost over $1,000, which you can imagine how much it was today, to erect this marker. And in fact, the last thing put on the marker was this setting right here, Southern Rights. And the reason this was not put on until last was because, well, the makers of the monument did not want this to get destroyed in Baltimore. I mean, it was during its transport. Somebody saw Southern Rights. They were fearful that it would get destroyed by Union sympathizers. So this was all boxed up except for a narrow slit. Then they carved this in and sealed it up, shipped it here, and in September of 1867, the monument was dedicated here. And it's been here ever since. There are 121 names on the monument. Daughters of Old Hampshire erected this tribute of affection to the historic sons who fell in the defense of Southern Rights.
In 1984,
an effort was made to restore the marker. Needed much upcare. And ever since then, on June 1st, they have a commemoration ceremony of the fallen here. And this cemetery isn't just for Confederate dead. There are Union dead as well in this cemetery. There are dead from multiple wars in this cemetery. This is truly a fascinating cemetery to visit. Some claim, though, this is the first monument to the Confederacy, the first monument ever erected. Although there is a town in South Carolina, and I'm sure a dozen others that contradict that. This monument, I feel, is a teaching lesson. It shows how one town that was wrecked by the war tried to have some reconciliation.
And it honors those who are now interred here at Indian Mountain Cemetery. Thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to hit the thumbs up below. We enjoy making these videos that explore our shared past, both famous and unknown. We would appreciate you showing the passion for history that brought you to this video by subscribing to Readout Productions.